What's up, guys? I'm going to show you how to make our spiced pu-erh tea base for our non-alcoholic hot buttered rum. About 8 cups of water, 5 cardamom pods, about a quarter teaspoon of cracked black pepper, 1.5 star anise pods, about 5 grams of dried orange peel, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. It's about 4 or 5 good pinches, about 6 pu-erh tea bags, and a banana peel. Alright guys, so we're going to make our pu-erh tea base for this hot buttered rum. So we want to kind of layer all our aromatics and kind of flavoring agents into this tea because the tea is going to make pretty much 80-90% of what this drink is going to, like the volume is going to consist of. I'm making a good amount of it. So I used 8 cups for this kind of batch. I've got the water just about boiling. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to boil the tea and the aromatics together, give it 5 to 10 minutes to kind of boil and steep, and then I'm going to strain it and continue to boil it to reduce it, to kind of make it even stronger and condense the flavor. So my water's just about to boil, so let's kind of add in everything together. All right. Let's toss in, we got 6 pu-erh tea bags, and pu-erh tea is a fermented tea. So you get this kind of rich, funky body to it. It's got a nice roundness. You still get those tannic notes. It's going to have a lot of different complexity to it. So I think it's going to make this drink pretty interesting. A little banana peel right here. So the banana peel just adds this earthy, almost tropical note, which does really well if you want to kind of represent rum, which is really, really nice. Of course, some orange peel, classic rum flavor. We've got those green cardamom pods. It's going to bring a little bit of like subtle citrus spice in there. And all those hard-shelled spices, you want to crack those. So I usually take a muddler. You can take back of a spoon handle, whatever you want to do. But just crack them open so the water can get to them. A little bit of cracked black pepper, earthy, dry spice notes. A little bit of star anise. Obviously anise notes, and a little cayenne pepper. It's going to add just a touch of heat. Ooh, see, now it's boiling, so I want to turn it down. So that's going to add just a touch of heat, but not spice, just a little bit of warmth. All right, let's stir this baby up, huh? All right, so that's boiling quite enough. I'm going to turn the water down, turn the heat down, and I'm just going to set a timer for 5 minutes. Cover this for now. I'm going to see if I can't keep some of those more volatile aromatics in the brew. So when you heat it, the steam rises out, and definitely it carries, but that's why you can smell something when it's steaming in the kitchen. It carries some of the more lighter volatile aromatics into the air. Vapor distilling, that's how you get gin, things like that. So I'm just going to, so that's the difference between heating something covered and not covered, right? So I'm going to let this steep for a couple minutes, and I'm going to strain all this stuff out. And then I'm going to continue to cook it and reduce it. And by the end, I'm going to use blackstrap molasses to kind of bring the sweetness and the flavor together, right? So sweetness, just like salt, is a flavor enhancer. So it enhances savory flavors. Sugar does that for sweet things. So all these sweet spices that I'm getting, without the sugar, they just kind of fall flat in the tea. That's why a tea is going to taste so much different when you add sugar to it. You're just bringing different flavors out. So I'm going to use the molasses very lightly to kind of sweeten the drink just a little bit and raise those spices out. But there's also going to be sugar in the butter that I put in there. So I don't want to put too much sweet in the base and have the whole concoction be overly sweet. You know what I mean? So we're going to add this to flavor or add this to taste at the end. Excuse me. But yeah, so you can do it as well. So we'll let this steep, and I'll come back to you when it's all ready to strain. All right, guys, so the tea has been simmering for about 5-6 minutes, and I took it off the heat and let it steep for another 5 minutes or so, 5-6 minutes. So it's ready to be strained. Then we're going to put it back on the heat and reduce it just a little bit. Alright, so I got everything out of the pot, and you know, I want to make sure I get all the juicy goodness out of there, so I'm going to squeeze those tea bags as much as I can. Get all the juices out of there, you know. A little toasty, a little hot. Some nice aromatics coming out of this. Beautiful. All right, so now we're going to bring it back to the heat. So remember, it's been simmering for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, somewhere in there. So it's already reduced a bit. So I'm only going to give it another 5 to 10 minutes, probably landing around 7 minutes, just to kind of let it concentrate the flavors a little bit, get some of that water content out, and focus in. Yeah, it's going to be good. All right, guys, so we've been simmering for about 5 minutes or so. So I'm going to take it off, get it off the heat, and kind of put it in its container. Ooh, I can already tell it's a little bit less than what we started with, which is good. That's what we want. So now we're pretty much there. Now I just want to kind of sweeten to taste with blackstrap molasses. And of course, rum is made from molasses. It's one of those core flavors in there. So I'm going to kind of just add a ½ ounce at a time. I'm going to start with, you know, good 1-2 ounces and then kind of go from there. You know, it's going to need at least 2. Boom. So thick and blackstrappy. Oh my goodness, look at this. It's dark. That's so thick. There's so much in there to taste some. Make sure it's mixed in there. Let this cool down a second. All right, so yeah, you're just gonna watch me taste. Taste until I get it right, until I like it. It's just enough sweetness to kind of give it a base because we're gonna add more sweetness later on. I think that's it. So I added 3 ounces of blackstrap molasses and I got it pretty much where I want it to be. I think it's right there. All right, guys, let's put this into some containers here. All right, take a look at that. So that right there, bam, bam, is our tea base. And we started with 8 cups of water, which would be about up to here. So that's how much we reduced it. So it's going to constitute that flavor. I think it's going to be good. We're going to let this cool, and then we're ready to use it. Pu-erh tea.